My name is Aurora Hayes, and I just turned 34. I'm sitting at my parents' mahogany dining table in their Newport mansion, watching my family perform their annual ritual of forgetting my birthday. The crystal chandelier catches evening light, casting shadows across faces that have perfected the art of selective memory. If you're watching this, drop a comment telling me if your family has ever conveniently forgotten something important to you. Oh, was that today? My mother, Catherine, asks with practiced innocence, adjusting her Cartier bracelet, the one she bought with money that should have been mine. My sister Emma doesn't even pretend, too busy showing off photos of her Maldives vacation, another luxury purchased with funds that belonged to me. My brother James simply smirks behind his whiskey glass, the same smirk he's worn since they started raiding my trust fund 15 years ago. What they don't know is that the leather portfolio sitting beside my plate contains more than just work documents. Inside are papers that will shatter their carefully constructed facade proof that they've stolen $4.2 million from my inheritance, meticulously documented by my grandfather's lawyer who finally broke his silence. We should do these family dinners more often, my father suggests, swirling his aged bourbon. The same father who's been signing my trust fund checks over to my siblings for years. The irony would be amusing if it weren't so cruel. Before I tell you how I'm about to turn this dinner into the most expensive birthday lesson they've ever learned, hit subscribe. Because what happens next isn't just about money, it's about justice served with a side of perfectly timed revenge. The Hayes family has always excelled at celebrations, just not mine. Every year, Emma's birthday transforms our parents' estate into a showcase of excess. Last June, they flew in a Michelin-starred chef from Paris. James's birthdays are weekend-long affairs at luxury resorts, with guests arriving in private jets. But mine, they've perfected the art of making October 15th disappear. It started subtly when I turned 16. While Emma got a brand new Mercedes with a giant bow, my birthday coincidentally fell on the same day as Mother's urgent spa retreat. At 18, when James received a yacht party, I got a text message 3 days late. "Oh, darling, were we supposed to do something?" The pattern became impossible to ignore. Every year there was always an excuse. Business meetings, charity galas, sudden trips abroad, all mysteriously scheduled on my birthday. I spent my 21st birthday alone in my apartment while they celebrated James's academic achievement in the Hamptons. He'd barely passed his classes. I'd made Dean's List, but it wasn't just the forgotten birthdays that hurt. It was the whispered conversations that stopped when I entered rooms, the mysterious family brunches I was never invited to, the financial discussions that became awkward silences in my presence. Then came last month's discovery. I'd stopped by the estate to pick up some old photos and heard voices from Father's study. Through the crack in the door, I saw them, Mother, Father, Emma, and James, huddled around the antique desk, reviewing documents with our family lawyer. "Aurora must never know about these distributions," Father said, his voice firm. "The trust fund remains our secret." That moment changed everything. Their deliberate forgetfulness wasn't just cruel, it was a smokescreen for something much bigger. The truth emerged in my grandfather's lake house, a place I'd retreated to after overhearing that conversation. While sorting through his old study, the one room my family never bothered to clear out after his passing, I found a hidden compartment behind his portrait. Inside was a leather-bound folder, its contents about to shatter my world. "To my beloved granddaughter Aurora," the letter began, my grandfather's elegant handwriting filling the page. "If you're reading this, I fear my suspicions about your parents were correct. The documents revealed a trust fund he'd established for me at birth, $5.8 million, meant to be accessed when I turned 25. 9 years past that date, I'd never seen a penny. My hands trembled as I read through bank statements, legal documents, and transfer records. Every year since his death, systematic withdrawals had been made. Emma's luxury boutique startup, $800,000 from my trust. James's failed investment ventures, $1.2 million. My parents' vacation homes in Aspen and Tuscany, $2.2 million combined. All from funds that were legally mine. I sat there on my grandfather's Persian rug, surrounded by proof of my family's betrayal, as years of forgotten birthdays suddenly made sense. They hadn't been forgetting, they'd been hiding. Every missed celebration, every convenient absence was orchestrated to maintain their guilt-free pillaging of my inheritance. Tears burned my eyes, but they weren't tears of sadness. For the first time, I felt white-hot anger coursing through my veins. My grandfather had trusted them to protect my my inheritance, and they'd treated it like their personal ATM. The final document in the folder was a business card, Harrison Wells, estate attorney. Below it, my grandfather's last note. He knows everything. Trust him. Harrison Wells's office was exactly what you'd expect from Boston's top estate attorney, all mahogany and leather, overlooking the Charles River. He wasn't surprised to see me. "I've been waiting 9 years for you to find that folder," he said, pulling out a thick file with my name on it. For 3 weeks, we meticulously traced every dollar. My family had been clever, but my grandfather had been cleverer. He'd instructed Harrison to maintain a shadow record of all transactions, building an airtight case for when I finally discovered the truth. Each withdrawal, each transfer, each investment was documented with brutal precision. The numbers were staggering. Emma's boutique hadn't just received $800,000. There were ongoing monthly transfers disguised as business consultancy fees. James's failed ventures weren't one-time losses. They were recurring drains on my trust. My parents had even set up offshore accounts, funneling my inheritance through a maze of shell companies. "Your grandfather knew your father's character," Harrison explained, showing me a damning email chain. "He predicted they'd try this, which is why he appointed me as the trust's silent executor. I couldn't stop them without your awareness, but I could document everything." I spent nights in Harrison's office, learning about financial fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. The total amount stolen, $4,237,192.14. Every penny was accounted for, every transaction time-stamped, every signature preserved. My family hadn't just stolen my money, they'd left a perfect paper trail of their betrayal. The final piece came when Harrison showed me the trust fund's original terms. "The most important clause," he said, pointing to a paragraph, "allows you to demand immediate repayment, with interest, once fraud is discovered. They have 30 days to comply, or they face criminal charges." I planned my 34th birthday dinner with the precision of a military operation. The invitations went out 3 weeks in advance, heavy cream cardstock, gold embossing, impossible to ignore. "A special family gathering," I wrote, knowing they'd never suspect I'd host my own birthday dinner. My mother called immediately, trying to reschedule. "Darling, we have a charity gala that evening." I held firm. "This is non-negotiable, Mother. Everyone must attend." Harrison helped me prepare 3 identical folders in legal blue leather. Inside each, complete transaction histories, bank statements, offshore account details, and a demand letter giving them 30 days to repay $4,237,192.14, plus 9 years of compound interest. The total due, just over $6 million. I had copies of every check they'd forged, every transfer they'd authorized, every document they'd tried to hide. I chose my grandfather's favorite restaurant, the Bristol Lounge, booking their private dining room where he'd celebrated his last birthday. The symmetry felt right. I arranged for his portrait, the one that had hidden his letter, to be hung on the wall. Let them squirm under his painted gaze. The day before, I visited his grave, placing fresh roses by the headstone. "Tomorrow, Grandpa," I whispered. "Tomorrow they learn you were smarter than they thought." I'd chosen my outfit carefully, a black Chanel suit he'd bought me for my college graduation, the only gift that had ever made my mother jealous. Harrison had a team of lawyers on standby, ready to file papers the moment my family tried to access any remaining trust funds. Every detail was planned, every escape route blocked. After 9 years of stolen money and forgotten birthdays, I was about to serve revenge on a silver platter. They arrived in their typical staggered formation, my parents first. Mother in Dior, father adjusting his Patek Philippe watch. Emma swept in 15 minutes late, making an entrance in Valentino, while James sauntered in last, already 3 drinks deep from the bar. The private dining room at the Bristol Lounge hummed with their artificial cheer. "Aurora, darling," Mother air-kissed my cheek, her perfume expensive and suffocating. "What's the occasion?" Your email was rather too insistent. I played my part perfectly, maintaining the same quiet, accommodating demeanor they'd taken advantage of for years. Just felt like a family dinner, I smiled, watching them relax at my apparent submission. The first course arrived grandfather's favorite caviar service. "Remember how Daddy used to spoil us with this?" Emma gushed to James, deliberately excluding me from the memory. They'd always rewritten history to erase my place in it. Father launched into another story about James's latest business venture, funded by money they thought I'd never trace. "Speaking of business," Mother interjected, "Aurora, dear, perhaps it's time to consider a more substantial career." The familiar dismissal stung less now, knowing what was coming. I nodded meekly, letting them build their tower of superiority higher before demolishing it. The tension coiled tighter as dinner progressed. My silence made them nervous. They were used to my attempts to participate, to belong. Instead, I watched them perform their usual dynamics. Emma's subtle bragging, James's condescending advice, my parents' proud glances at their successful children. As dessert approached, father checked his watch again. We should wrap this up soon. We have that. He paused, manufacturing another excuse to leave early. Perfect timing. I reached for my briefcase, feeling the weight of justice inside. Before dessert, I said, my voice steady as I placed 3 blue leather folders on the table. I have something for each of you. The room fell silent as I slid them across the white tablecloth. Consider it a reverse birthday present since you've forgotten mine for the past 9 years. Mother's perfectly manicured hands froze on her wine glass. Father's face tightened. Emma and James exchanged nervous glances as they recognized the legal blue leather, the same kind father used for important documents. Open them, I commanded, my voice carrying an authority that made them flinch. The sound of papers rustling mixed with sharp intakes of breath. Mother's face went pale, her fingers trembling as she read the first page. Father's complexion turned from red to gray. Emma's designer clutch clattered to the floor. This is absurd, Father sputtered, but his eyes betrayed recognition of every transaction listed. These funds were managed according to family needs. My funds, I cut him off. My trust fund, $5.8 million that grandfather left specifically to me. Not the family, not your pet projects, not Emma's boutique or James's failed ventures. Me, darling, Mother attempted her soothing voice. You don't understand the complexities of family finance. Actually, I understand 4,809.92.14 worth of complexity, I interrupted, watching James choke on his whiskey. Plus 9 years of compound interest. Harrison Wells explained everything. The mention of Harrison's name hit like a thunderbolt. Father's hand shook so violently he spilled his bourbon. Harrison, you've spoken with Harrison? Grandfather's lawyer sends his regards. I smiled, savoring their mounting panic. He's been quite helpful in documenting every forged signature, every fraudulent transfer, every offshore account. You have 30 days to repay everything. 30 days? Emma shrieked, her designer mascara starting to run. That's impossible. The boutique's assets are tied up. I can't liquidate. Not my problem. I cut her off. Maybe sell your Maldives vacation house, the one you bought with $600,000 of my money. Her face crumpled as James turned on her. You got $600,000? They only gave me. He stopped, realizing his admission. Father slammed his fist on the table, making the crystal shake. This ends now. I'm still the executor of... No, you're not, I interrupted, pulling out another document. Grandfather left Harrison Wells as the true executor. You were just a trustee who betrayed his trust. Harrison has already frozen all remaining accounts, and if full repayment isn't made in 30 days, he's filing criminal charges. Mother's carefully maintained facade cracked completely. Criminal charges? But we're family. You wouldn't dare, family. I laughed, the sound sharp as broken glass. Family remembers birthdays. Family doesn't steal inheritances. Family doesn't gaslight their daughter for 9 years while robbing her blind. The alliances started crumbling in real time. Emma turned on James. Your stupid investments lost twice what I took. James snapped back. At least I didn't buy a third car with trust fund money. Mother rounded on father. You said the paperwork was foolproof. Oh, the paperwork was perfect. I smiled. Perfect evidence of fraud, theft, and conspiracy. Harrison says it's one of the most well-documented cases of inheritance theft he's seen. Father's legal mind finally caught up. The statute of limitations doesn't apply, I finished, because you were still stealing last month. That final transfer to James's consulting firm in the Caymans? Harrison tracked that too. The news exploded through Boston's elite social circles like a perfectly detonated bomb. Aunt Victoria called first, horrified that her sister, my mother, could orchestrate such deception. I always wondered how they afforded that second yacht, she whispered, suddenly remembering years of extravagant purchases that didn't add up. My parents' carefully curated reputation crumbled within days. Father's law firm partners called an emergency meeting apparently. Stealing from your daughter's trust fund violates their ethics code. Mother's charity board positions began disappearing one by one. The Bristol Ladies Club, her sanctuary for 30 years, quietly suggested she take a voluntary leave of absence. Emma's boutique customers vanished overnight. Turns out, Boston's wealthy women don't like shopping from someone who funded their inventory with stolen money. James's business contacts stopped returning. Calls his successful venture capitalist image shattered by proof that his investments were funded by theft. Cousin Rachel, who'd always sided with Emma, sent me an unexpected email. I found similar documents in Uncle Charles's study. They've been doing this to all of us, haven't they? More family members came forward, revealing a pattern of financial manipulation that went beyond just my trust fund. The society pages, which once featured my family's glamorous events, now carried whispered stories of fraud and betrayal. Hayes' family fortune built on stolen trust, read one headline. My mother's former friends suddenly remembered every time they'd witnessed her convenient forgetfulness of my birthdays, now recognizing them as calculated distractions. But the most satisfying moment came when Harrison called to say other clients were coming forward. "Your case is inspiring people to investigate their own family trusts," he said. "You've started a movement." I didn't feel vindictive joy, just a quiet satisfaction that truth, like cream, eventually rises to the top. The legal settlement was finalized exactly 30 days after that birthday dinner. My family, facing criminal charges and social ruin, paid back every penny 6/42/891.73, including interest. I donated a portion to establish a foundation helping victims of financial abuse, naming it after my grandfather. His portrait now hangs in our foundation's office, his knowing smile a daily reminder that justice sometimes takes time. I haven't spoken to my parents since the settlement. Emma tried reaching out once, not to apologize, but to explain why she deserved my money more than me. James sent a drunken text about family loyalty. I blocked their numbers and moved to a new apartment overlooking the harbor, one they don't have access to. The most valuable thing I gained wasn't the money, it was the understanding that being family doesn't give anyone the right to abuse your trust. Those forgotten birthdays weren't about forgetfulness, they were about control. Every time they dismissed my celebrations, they were reinforcing their power over me. Breaking free wasn't just about reclaiming my inheritance, it was about reclaiming my worth. To everyone watching who feels that nagging suspicion that something isn't right in their family dynamics, trust your instincts. Check those documents. Ask those uncomfortable questions. The truth might hurt, but living a lie hurts more. If you've experienced family financial abuse, share your story in the comments. Let's build a community where we can discuss these hidden betrayals and help others recognize the signs. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories about standing up to family manipulation and finding your power. Remember, sometimes the best birthday gift you can give yourself is the courage to face the truth, even when that truth comes in a blue leather folder with documented proof of betrayal. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful revenge stories. And if you've ever faced betrayal or family drama, feel free to share your story in the comments, because your voice matters here.